We've talked about stamina, but now it's time to talk about tone. Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood saxman Alex here. Tone in the saxophone world is extremely important, and it's good to know that you can go from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. From dark to bright, from warm to harsh, and so many more qualities that define a unique saxophone tone. My students ask me, how do I develop tone? It's really hard and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere and the tone that I have isn't what I want. So today I wanted to talk about the 7 Sax Fundamentals, specifically tone. So we heard the qualities: bright, dark, warm, harsh. It goes all over the place. A unique tone is memorable for life. If you think about people like John Coltrane, his tone is recognizable throughout the entire saxophone world. Kenny Garrett's tone, for example, is an innovative new tone for the alto saxophone that hasn't been done before. And you name it, so many more people have created individual unique tones that set them apart from everybody else. There are a lot of little tiny things that can affect each saxophonist's tone. The reed, for example, the mouthpiece, the ligature, and the saxophone itself can change the tone of a saxophone player. I remember when I was in high school, when I would go to Allstate or any other festival, there was a showcase room where there would be Selmer horns, Yamaha horns, and Kyleworth horns that I could try out. The difference between horn to horn and brands was enormous. Some horns were super bright, some horns were super dark. It was really cool to see the differences in how it felt on your mouth, how it felt to the ear, how it felt with your fingers. It was awesome. All of those different horns were great, but my teachers would always tell me, it's about you. It's 90% you, 10% the horn. And I stick to that belief. I think that once I find the right setup, which I finally have after more than 10 years of playing the saxophone, that now I just have to hone in on the best qualities of the mouthpiece, the reed and ligature, and the horn, and try to overcome the obstacles and the limitations that all of these different aspects of the horn, the mouthpiece, and the reed, and the ligature have. Some great exercises that I've learned in my career for tone have been overtone exercises and long tone exercises. But we all know about the long tone exercises. What I want to focus on is the overtone exercises and mouthpiece exercises. The overtone exercise was given to me by Gary Keller from the Frost School of Music at University of Miami. Basically, what you do is you play a major scale using overtones. So if you start on your B flat, you do the octave above and go all the way the scale, just using all the overtones. This is really great because it's not the monotonous partial to the fundamental, partial to the fundamental, partial to the partial to the fundamental. Kind of gives you a fun way to practice your scales and develop your tone. And for those of you who don't know how overtones develop your tone, you're basically playing low notes, and low notes require a lot of strength and stamina to be able to maintain that, but you're also going up the range, which is utilizing a lot of the higher ringy overtones that open up your tone. Really, the focus on these scales and on any overtone exercise is to hold out the note as long as possible until you find that nice, ringy, bright or dark tone that you want, and then continue on with the next note. Now, the mouthpiece exercise that I want to show you is a little different. I got it from Baptiste Elbain in France. He's an excellent saxophonist. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. But when I took a lesson with him, he showed me how to bend down and still create a nice buttery tone using the mouthpiece. Basically, again, using the major scale, but just trying to go down as much as I could, maintaining that same tone. Very difficult because the stamina that you need to have in order to create the same tone at each consecutively lower note is difficult. But it's great because it just opens your throat, it opens your mouth, and it really gets you in the right direction of what tone you really want. One final tip about developing your ideal tone is to listen to people that you really admire tone-wise. So if you really enjoy Kenny Garrett's tone, listen to him and his recordings as much as you can, transcribe him, and really try to hone in on how he does his mouth movements. Even if you can't see him like on a YouTube video, you can try to imitate it yourself through the sound. This will definitely get you in the right direction, and you'll find where you want to be tone-wise much quicker if you have a reference. So I'm gonna show you these 2 exercises, so sit back, relax, and I'll see you in a bit. Tone is a never-ending journey, and I understand that it can be frustrating at times, but I hope with these exercises you can get to your ideal tone in an efficient way and quicker. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this Sax Ed episode. Of course, there will be much more on the Sax Fundamentals, but don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok for all your Sax Ed tips and much more. And of course, stay saxy.